If you read what the Greeks said, not what we think, but if you read what the Greeks said they got everything from Egypt.
I got a viewer comment that I wanted to kind of comment on, and it kind of, the viewer's comment really is an indication of where we are right now in society, the ignorance level that is out there, And so I just wanted to put this information out there to help some people out, because, they make statements and they say these things, and they really truly in their heart, believe these things. They get triggered by what they see. It doesn't add up to what they've been taught all of this time. And so it triggers them and they begin to say things, out of their heart. And so I was looking at this comment here, and this guy responded to a video, and he said, I find it funny how they always say they were all black, but in Africa, they still live in huts and are starving. What happened then? Why did whites and Spaniards conquer and build successful economies? Okay. So that's a common response, whatever. So I just responded back and I said, well, two things are obvious. Number one, you don't have real knowledge of Africa. And number two, you don't really know your own history. But here's a little info to get started on your own history. And so I sent him the information that you're going to be viewing. And it's true what the scriptures say in Jeremiah 16:19. It talks about when the Messiah returns, that the Gentiles are going to actually have to come to him and admit that they didn't know what they were talking about. So Jeremiah 16:19 says, O Yahuwah, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity and things wherein there is no profit. So this is an admission that the Gentiles will have to make to the Messiah. But this is just where we are, right now in society with the book bannings and all of the different things, and Congress passing all these laws banning all of these different things. And so this is where we are. This is where we're headed. It's going to get worse. But I just wanted to put this information out there to help benefit somebody who's really truly seeking truth. All right, so let's get back to the video.
That's one of the things I would most like you to come away with from this lecture. First of all, you cannot study the Egyptians as an archaeologist or as an astronomer or as a philosopher or as an anthropologist. You must put it all together because they put it all together. If you read what the Greeks said, not what we think, but if you read what the Greeks said they got everything from Egypt. They got all their knowledge from Egypt. Pythagoras spent 15 years in Egypt. And what did he have to do? He probably had to spend 5 years convincing them that he was worthy to get the knowledge that they had. Remember, knowledge was power. Knowledge was sacred. Knowledge was something you just didn't publish in the newspapers. Knowledge was guarded very closely because it was of tremendous value. You wouldn't give it to anybody. You would give it to somebody who was willing to shave his head and be a penitent for 5 years, and then you might start to tell him things. Okay? And the Greeks did this. Pythagoras did this. Other Greeks did this. And they said that they got all their knowledge from the Egyptians. Now, when did we come up with the idea that the Greeks created everything from scratch? Well, believe it or not, it happened in the 18th and 19th century. And it's an unfortunate fact of life that Romanticism, which has many great things about it, also has a dark side, which has to do with racism. And in the 18th and 19th century, it was decided that it was just not appropriate for all this knowledge to come from an African country. Where would that knowledge, if it survived to the time of the Roman Empire, where would it have been kept? Yes. In Alexandria, in the museum, the library at Alexandria. And what happened to the library? It was burned in a war, okay? And at that point, what happened to those books that were burned? If they were written in living languages, there was a scholar someplace who had memorized the book and could just write it down again. But if it was in a dead language, like ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, end of story.
Now, I believe that the feast day cards are a powerful tool for three major reasons. Number one, the Messiah fulfilled and will continue to fulfill his redemptive work surrounding these particular days. The feast days are actually the only biblical holidays or holy days that he affirms in Scripture, not Easter, Christmas, Valentine's. Those days are actually dedicated to other gods. And number two, prophecy. These cards present teaching moments. And one of the main emphasis on the card is prophecy. So the third reason that these cards are so powerful is that when possible, we have actual historical representations of true Israel. We also include on the cards where the images are now located. So this is an opportunity to discuss the meaning of the feast days from a messianic perspective. Also, it's a teaching moment on specific prophecies, and it also opens up discussions about the images of true Israel.